Hello everyone, Professor Gabriel here. Before we get back into the stages of getting sick with the flu, I'm going to be sharing about viruses. There are approximately 10 to the power of 31 viruses on Earth. Therefore, the total number of viruses present on Earth is a staggering 1 followed by 31 zeros. This impressive quantity shows the extreme success of viruses. Surprisingly, viruses aren't doing anything at all. This is because they do not sense anything, and they aren't actively doing anything, making them not considered to be alive. Viruses contain special proteins on their surfaces called spike proteins shown in red, a capsid shown in blue, a lipid envelope shown in green, as well as DNA/RNA shown as these squiggly lines. If all forms of life were to become extinct, viruses would disappear alongside them. This indicates that viruses require functioning cells in order to thrive. In order to multiply and thrive, a virus has to get inside of a cell through the cell's receptors. Receptors transport substances from the outside to the inside of a cell and substances from the inside to the outside of a cell. As I just mentioned, viruses have special proteins on their surfaces called spike proteins. These proteins can only connect to a specific receptor on a cell. Therefore, a virus cannot connect to just any type of cell. They can only connect to the cells that have a matching receptor to their spike proteins. If a cell's receptor connects to a virus's spike proteins, the virus goes inside of the cell. Most viruses have many different types of spike proteins, which can connect to a cell as long as the cell's receptors can connect to it. There are many different virus species, with approximately 200 different species infecting us humans. Once a virus is inside a cell, it releases its genetic material into the cell nucleus, as I explained before. These viruses prevent the cell from producing new substances, excluding viral components, or virus parts. Some viruses keep cells alive, while others kill and use up cells as soon as possible. Once 8 through 72 hours pass by, the resources of the cell are turned into viral components, which forms into new viruses. These viruses cover the entire cell, with hundreds or thousands of viruses within the cell. Enveloped viruses leave cells through a process called budding, therefore they take out a small segment of a cell's membrane, allowing them to emerge out of the cell. Once the viruses take out segments out of the cell's membrane, they cover themselves with it, making it harder for enzymes, proteins, and immune cells to neutralize or kill them. These viruses also force cells to dissolve and burst open, releasing new viruses to infect more cells. Pathogenic viruses adapt faster than anything, faster than our own immune system. Therefore, nothing mutates or changes as fast as viruses do. Viruses are very simple, as they do not have effective protection mechanisms, explaining why they mutate very often and easily. Because viruses mutate very often, we often get sick with them. In most circumstances, when an organism mutates, it becomes worse, rather than becoming better. Viruses aren't concerned about this risk, yet the question is, why aren't viruses concerned about this? Well, viruses reproduce very quickly, and in each infected cell, they produce thousands of copies of themselves. At least one of these viruses would have a helpful mutation, making these viruses better at surviving. Your immune system cannot rely on the same immune cells to fight viruses as it does for bacteria, as both bacteria and viruses are very different. This is because viruses are much smaller and are harder to detect than bacteria, as they do not release waste that can be picked up by your immune cells. Furthermore, viruses hide inside cells, mutate faster than bacteria, as well as one virus can turn into thousands within a day. This explains why your immune system is very prepared with antivirus defenses. These are antibacterial immune cells, while these are antivirus immune cells. Here's a summary of the process of how viruses infect your cells. 1. A virus connects to a cell's membrane, causing it to go inside the cell. 2. The virus takes over the cell. Within a few hours, the resources of the cell are turned into viruses. At some point, the cell is fully covered with thousands of viruses. These viruses cause the cell to burst open, releasing new viruses. The released viruses infect more cells, and the cycle repeats. So, that is the end of my presentation on viruses. Any questions? Wait! Did someone just ask me if viruses like pineapple on pizza? I don't think they care about pizza. They just want to throw a wild party inside your cells. And you're not invited. Anyway, stay safe, wash your hands, and keep your cells virus-free. Stay healthy and smart.